Hello and welcome to the Rover Reporter. I'm Mary Lou Davidson, and I'm delighted to welcome Mindy Kauffman to our show today. She's done an amazing thing. She's opened a dog bar and restaurant in Sarasota, Florida, welcoming pooches of all sizes. They just need to have vaccinations. So, hello, Mindy. How are you?
Hi, thanks for having me on. This is great.
Yeah, I'm super excited and I've got so many questions. I'll try to tamp my enthusiasm down a little bit.
No tamping necessary.
So, when did you sort of first envision having a dog bar?
So we opened in 2023, so it was probably a good 5 years before that.
So,
Um, yeah, we had gone to another one. Turn this off, and we just fell in love with the concept. We just had so much fun, and we started going there again and again. And it sort of turned into an idea as a joke. I think initially it was like we should open up one in Sarasota, and then it became reality. And then probably that took about probably 2 years, and then found the space, and it probably took us 3 years from the time we found our building to opening up.
okay, so sort of getting down to brass tacks. Who is Boo?
Boo is our one of our dogs. Well, he's now our only dog. We lost our other dog that we had originally during the planning, but so he's sort of the inspiration for it. He's just a big goofy pit bull mix, some kind of rescue. We got him. He was supposed to be 6 years old when we got him. He was found on the streets. He had been adopted by somebody, and he was found on the streets, completely starving. And we took him in thinking that he was 6 years old and starving and just needed to recuperate on someone's couch. And then, after we fed him a couple times, he was like, "Hey, let's go party." He's just a funny dog. So he was just sort of the inspiration for what we were doing.
Gotcha. So, while you were looking for a place to site the dog bar, um, were you focused in on historic buildings or what were you wide open?
No, so originally we actually weren't even focused on buildings. Originally, the concept was just to be outside, have a small building that would just house the bar, but the dog park itself would just have been outside. So you'd have a small building that would have the bar and the restrooms, obviously, but it would really be outdoor based. And then because of a variety of issues, including zoning and I guess reconsidering what it's like during the summer. It's just so hot here for so long. Um, we saw there was actually a different building that was available. One very close to where ours is, but just a cool old building. And I said something to Bobby about, maybe we should do it there. And he didn't get it. And I said, "Come here." And so I dragged him in, and we just sat inside the space and just looked around. And he was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I see it now." So we ended up not buying that one, but found the ice house that we're at. And it just sort of works out because then you can have, like right now, everybody's inside, most of the time, certainly at night. Sometimes people will go outside, but between the rain and the heat, it's pretty hard to have a dog bar only outside. So,
Yeah. How many square feet is the ice house where Boo's is?
well, so the total building is maybe just shy of about 9,000 square feet. So part of that is restaurant, part of that is dog park, part of that is bar. I would say the indoor dog park is probably about 3,500 square feet.
Yeah. I remember during the construction period driving up and because of the original purpose of the structure, there were like garage door size openings.
Yeah.
And I walked in, and here was Bobby, your partner, on a ladder, at least 15 feet in the air. And I thought, wow, this is not just your basic remodel. So, did you have to do special things like for HVAC, and how did that work?
Yeah. So, part of what we loved about the building was that it has these garage doors. So it has one, two, three, four, five. So in this large open space, you can really open it up and let the air go back and forth, and and then it also has a series of skylights. So when it's nice out, you can open up the doors. Between the light and the air, it really felt like you were bringing the outdoors in. Um, so that was part of the beauty of it. It had a lot of HVAC. We did have to add some of that. We had, I mean, otherwise we started with the bones. The bones are the same, but pretty much all walls came down, got reconfigured, new plumbing, new electrical, new fire system. So, basically the exterior and the structure, and the roof, I mean, it's a concrete box, so it's, we always joke if there's a hurricane, that's where we're going. It's in
Exactly.
very good shape and it's high up, so flooding shouldn't be an issue. So yeah, it's nice.
So, so Sarasota is your hometown. Yes.
I'm originally from Philadelphia, moved here when I was 12 though.
Okay.
Pretty
So
close.
recent hometown. So I'm sure that was your first choice, but did you ever think of another place?
Nope,
Okay.
nope, I live here. I mean, the whole idea was to bring this concept to where I live,
Yeah.
so I could go to one more often.
Yeah. So, and it's unique, especially right now with the extreme weather that we're having. There's such a need to be able to have a place to bring your dog where you can run, etc.
Yeah.
I've found, because obviously I've visited your place and I know some of the other members, that in a way that is not unlike the way people feel ownership of a regular county park, they
Yeah.
feel ownership of booze and are very protective and not unwilling at all to make suggestions as if for the benefit of all, right? Is that
Sure. Yeah, no, I would say, our customers are fairly rabid and loyal. They do, it really has become a community, which is exactly what we wanted. I think it's, a very safe space um, for anybody to come. If you're a single woman, it doesn't feel uncomfortable to come. If you're a single anything, it's easy to, the dogs sort of act as the icebreakers. So it's just really easy to meet other people. And I mean, there are certainly people that are there every single day, lots of them, and they've become a real community. So yeah, of course, not sometimes, every day we get suggestions. We try and listen, we try and do as much as we can. Obviously, there's some limitations. The suggestions come fast and the implementation doesn't quite always come as quickly, but it's nice. It's really nice to hear back from people and get that feedback of, what's going to work for you guys.
yeah, and just the interaction just continues to build the loyalty, right?
Right, exactly.
You've worked hard, I think. In fact, you have folks dedicated to sort of giving back. And I know you work with rescues, like rotating monthly to give a certain percentage back. And you host special events to educate and inform dog owners about how to enhance their relationships. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so maybe two different things there, but so one of our core missions is definitely to enhance the community, give back to the community. We really do want to be a community resource. We want to work with the neighborhood. And by neighborhood, not only the geographical Rosemary district and downtown and Sarasota, but the dog rescue adoption shelter community. I've been involved with those communities for years and years. I have some great, great friends that I made years ago when I volunteered. And I've done a lot of volunteering for them. And so it's just a real passion of ours. So part of the mission is to give back and make space, like physically and emotionally, I guess, available for them to educate people about what they do, what their own missions are, and then financially to try and give back to them as well. So yeah, so we tend to rotate charities and rescues. We involve them in our events. So a lot of times, maybe if we have an event where we have a bath outside. So sometimes the charity is the one giving, your dog the bath for
Sure.
donations. Sometimes they'll do raffles. Sometimes we have a lure course, where the dogs run around. So sometimes they'll run the lure course all different kinds of things where they're involved in different ways. We had the dachshund folks did dachshund races. It's fun because everything is unique to that particular rescue. And then we also try and support them otherwise, like each month we have monthly drink and food specials, and so we give a portion of those back to that charity. So the idea is to try and involve them in that community and provide a space for them to further their goals. And then you're also asking about other educational opportunities for people. So there's so many smart people in this community who know so much about dogs, training, nutrition, healthcare. And so we have a great space to invite them in and tell the community more about what they know and what they can do. And so that's also been really successful and fun to, for us to learn a little bit more about all those things, because, I just like the dogs. I think they're fun, but I don't particularly have any super expertise in any of those particular areas. So it's been a neat part to learn more about all those things.
It's awesome. In the whole country, I think there are only, less than 50 dog bars. Would you say?
I honestly don't know. When we first started, I think there was probably less than 10. We spent time and went and visited probably 6 of them. And I knew of another handful of them, literally probably less than 10. I don't know at this point how many there are. I know USA Today just did a poll with the top 20. We were number 10, thank you.
Yep.
In the US. And I don't know. I know they're popping up, so I'm sort of starting to lose track a little bit.
Right. So once you got past the arc of construction and getting to the place where you could be open and welcoming dogs and people, in the grand scheme of drama, is it the people that are really harder to deal with? Did you anticipate that it would be the dogs or vice versa?
Yeah, that's a really funny point. Yeah, I guess we did. I guess thinking back on it, yes, we put a lot of thought into the dogs, and how we would handle them, make sure everybody's safe, make sure the dogs are safe, what about cleanliness, all those kinds of points. And maybe we just did a really good job. It really has been relatively drama-free from that perspective. And you're right, the people are always the more difficult ones. Well, this is life. We have dogs, we both have dogs, we love them, and they don't make a lot of demands on us, right? They just love us unconditionally, no matter what we do. And people don't.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all good. Obviously the customers I always joke about, people will talk about their dogs and they don't have a dog. And I always joke, well, the dogs don't drink. It's the people even though we're a dog bar and we're there for the dogs, ultimately we're serving people. We're trying to create a community of people, of human beings. So, I guess we're in a customer service, we have challenges based on customer service and the customers being the human beings. So yeah, it's all good.
Sure. And you've put a lot of thought, and probably with a little help from the county, about how to divide up the space between the restaurant and the dog park and who can go where and when. And
Yeah.
really an awesome job of monitoring that with your paw leash
Right.
folks who keep everybody in line in a very fair and
Yeah.
respectful way that I've
Thank you.
witnessed. Yeah.
I really appreciate that. Someone the other day was talking about how great the police are and how dedicated they are to the dogs. It's actually not easy to find the right people for that. I've come to realize. When we pay a lot more than your typical doggy daycare person gets. And at first I was sort of frustrated about that, but I came to realize that our police have to be both dog friendly and people friendly, right? So they're out there making, I relate it to flight attendants, that if you think about what a flight attendant does, we think of them, well, they hand out coffee and peanuts and they welcome people, but ultimately their real job is safety.
Right.
And it's the same thing with the Polish. Most of their time is spent talking to people, welcoming people, introducing people to each other, playing with the dogs, making sure everyone's having a good time. But ultimately, they're there for the safety and cleanliness. So our Polish, we have learned, particularly over the year, of the right people to get is the one who likes both dogs and people. And that's not everybody, right? There's those dog people who just are awesome with dogs but can't talk to a human.
right?
Uh,
I know several.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think they do a really nice job though. And it's really important to us that our place is super clean. We don't want you to walk in and go, ugh, it sort of smells in here. I mean, if it smells, I mean, I don't think anybody would think that's odd that a dog park smells, but you don't want to drink and have a bite to eat in a place that smells like, dog urine.
Not at
Um,
all. Yeah. And I've
and I
never
don't, yeah,
experienced that either. So,
exactly. And I think I was just talking to someone the other day. She was sitting at the bar and she said, God, it smells so good here. It just never smells like anything. And she was like, why? And we were talking about it. She goes, well, I'm sure it's, partially because of the airflow that you have. And right now, during the summer, we do have the garage doors up, but we have them up for light and we've installed plastic so that we can have air conditioning and yet the light's coming in. So there is really no airflow. We just do a lot of cleaning.
yeah.
So yeah, we spend a lot of time in making sure that we get that. I mean, not only just the hair, but also all that good stuff that we don't want there. So
Well, summer's just such a challenging time in Florida
yeah,
with the heat and humidity. Kudos
right.
to you for keeping it as fresh as it is.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
we don't want it to smell like wet dog.
wet dog is okay,
I
actually.
don't know. Not my wet dog. It's pretty smelly.
Yeah. So, what's next, do you think, for booze? I mean, we're in our slow season right now, but September's around the corner, and then by Thanksgiving, snowbirds.
Yep, they're back. So we're sort of taking the summer. It's a little, I mean, it's definitely slower in terms of the business. But it's nice. It gives us an opportunity to try and get some things done that we didn't have a chance to do during season. And for us, we're excited because now we've been through a year. So we've been through every part of the year. We've done a lot of events. We've celebrated a lot of holidays. So we sort of have an idea of what works, what doesn't. Not that everything's going to be perfect, but now we can try and go and perfect and dial down on what people seem to really like and what they don't. Eliminate what was not working. We'll probably have some changes coming. It's still challenging financially to make this work. It's a large building. There's a lot of expenses, the air conditioning. So we're trying to figure out how to make that work so that we can be here for the long term and be here for everybody. But we have a lot of events planned or in the planning stages. Not only for the summer, I mean, we've continued to have a bunch of events during the summer. We have our big July 4th. I don't know when this is coming out, but we'll have a big July 4th bash that first weekend, barbecue plates, and Bobby was just playing with he's got the red, white, and blue drinks that looks like an old
Nice.
bomb
Yeah,
popsicle. Yeah, it's really good. I love being the tester. That's a fun part.
right.
But yeah, and just sort of planning for the future and the larger events. One of the things that we have gotten into that we honestly didn't expect to get into is live music. So every Saturday night we have a band. Every Tuesday night we have Robbie Rose who comes in and does jazz and Latin funk. And then periodically on Fridays and Sundays during season we'll have music, I'm sure, every Friday and Sunday. Right now it's hit or miss.
Sure.
But it's beautiful on a Saturday night when it's gorgeous out and the band's outside and you can just sit there and have a beer and be outside and let your dogs run around. And you're right downtown. It's really amazing. So,
Paradise,
yeah, we're
right?
enjoying that.
So I know last year you did a Halloween party,
Yeah,
and I was there, so I know there were 128 dogs in costume, and I would say at least 30% of the owners were dressed up as well.
for sure. Yeah.
So do you see that again in October?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
we actually have a charity already lined up for that month, and they are super excited about it. They want to be a part of it. So we've already started talking about that a little bit. Yeah.
Can you let us in on a secret as to who it is yet?
It is Friends of Macaw, Friends of
Okay.
Manatee County Animal Welfare.
Gotcha. Okay.
A new
Perfect.
charity for us.
Yeah. And Manatee County really needs help. So
Yeah, yeah, I
good.
understand that.
Good for
So,
them.
yeah,
So do you think we're going to see Boo's Dog Bar in Naples or Chicago or San Diego anytime soon?
probably not Chicago anytime soon. Um, we have thought, long and hard about opening another one. Really, our next place would be Lakewood Ranch. So I've already started looking at Lakewood Ranch. I had found a property that I really liked. There were some potential issues with it. Um, I think at this point, I really just, from a capital perspective, I really want to focus on Sarasota and get this one down operationally. But that would definitely be the next place, is to go out to Lakewood Ranch, go east. We've looked at like our zip codes and who comes to the current booths. And we're pretty good from where we are out east, straight out east. But going a little bit north and south, not so much. I know that Fort Myers could really use one. I was just talking to a woman from that area. She said there is one down there, and I'm not familiar with it at all. But she said it's nothing like booze. So that might be in the future.
Mhm.
But first, we'll stay in the hometown area.
For sure. Well, keep us posted. We'll be following along, and
Thank you.
I'll post some pictures too of the Halloween event and some other images that I have from Booze on the website so that people can see a little bit about what you're all about. But wow, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us and share with
Thank
everybody,
you.
a little bit about what it took to first see it in your mind's eye and then actually bring it to the community.
I really thank you and Sarasota Dog. You guys have been great supporters, and you've given me lots of ideas, lots of inspiration, and I really appreciate your support as well.
It's been awesome. So
Fun
awesome, I
partnership.
say.
All
Okay, thanks. We'll talk to you soon, Mindy.
right, thanks, Mary Lou. You take care.
You too. Bye.